Good afternoon, each and everyone. Yeah, Irfan this side from EDL MOU division of ExcelR. I hope I'm audible. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for confirmation. Let us wait for more 2 to 3 minutes so that other faculty members can join. We have almost crossed 350 plus. So let us wait for 2 to 3 minutes more so that we can, other faculty members can also join. But out of 40, right? Okay, fine. Okay. Faculty members who already joined to the session. So please ask your colleagues and other friends to join the session at their earliest convenience so that we can start. Yeah, so we almost reaching to 500 participants here. So without wasting too much time, let's get started. So welcome to the National Faculty Development Program on Cybersecurity in collaboration with Chaitanya Bharati Institute of Technology, that is CBIT, Hyderabad. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to Professor C.V. Narsinolu, the principal of CBIT. Then Professor Raman Dugyala, head of the department, CSC, CBIT, and also the convener of this FDP training program. Next is Dr. Ram Krishna, who is a professor of IT, CBIT, and who is a SPOC, that is single point of contact for ExcelR, and the coordinator. The next is Dr. Ravi Uyala, the associate professor, CSC department, CBIT, and Dr. Ravi is also FDP coordinator. Welcome you all. Now I would like to request Dr. Ravi sir to brief the dignitaries from the CBIT, principal and other dignitaries. Over to you, Dr. Ravi sir. Dr. Ravi sir, are you there? Yeah. Are you there in the station? Yeah, I would like to request Dr. Ramkrishna sir to brief the dignities from the CBIT. Yeah, Dr. Ramkrishna sir, am I audible to you?
Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. Hope I am audible to you.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, let me thank ExcelR and its team for providing an opportunity to collaborate with ExcelR Solutions, an edutech company, which is providing a quality educational services to the engineering colleges particularly, and then a young generation of this nation. And on behalf of Chaitanya Bharati Institute of Technology, I would like to thank our management members, and particularly our beloved principal, Professor C.V. Narasimha Garu, who is dynamic, always encouraging these kind of activities to strengthen the faculty fraternity. Professor Raman Dugyala, who is happy to be head of the department in charge for the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Is also a convener of this program. I also thank Dr. Ravi Vuyala, Associate Professor of CSC Department from CBIT. He is a Faculty Development Program Coordinator. Because of some technical issue, he is facing a little difficulty to join immediately. Hope he will be joining soon. So basically, the CBIT is one of the premier institutions in the country and the top institution in the state of Telangana and in Telugu states, which is providing a quality engineering and technical education to the young aspirants into engineering and technical education. So the faculty also very the qualified and well experienced in multiple domains, and it's strong at its research environment. So uh, with this kind of faculty development programs, we wanted to transfer the knowledge to the faculty fraternity across the nation, and not only the nation, we wanted to reach out to the globe and then share the knowledge, because sharing the knowledge is the key in strengthening the academia. So with this, I really thank our principal and then head of the department CSC and the coordinator, and who are all working behind the program to make it a success. So I welcome all the participants who are taking their valuable time to participate in this program, and I definitely assure you that you will not regret after attending this program. We have already rolled out and then completed a few programs. So we have got a huge response for FDPs conducted under ExcelR Everyday Learning Program. So not only this, I also request all the faculty members to share the information about the ExcelR Everyday Learning Program in association with CBIT, and it also will help your students to constructively strengthen their knowledge and then ready for the industry. So I thank you very much once again, the team, CEO Ram sir, and then Sham sir, and particularly the Irfan ji, who is always there for us immediately to deliver the task, and then Amit ji, and then Leela madam, and Mahesh ji. So thank you very much, sir, for your continuous support to strengthen the faculty fraternity in latest trends in technology. Thank you very much. Once again, I
Yeah,
welcome all the participants on this occasion.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ramkrishna, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable words. Uh, Coming to next, today we are having our Associate Director of ExcelR EdTech Private Limited, Mr. Amit Saha, with us to guide us on this everyday learning program. So I would like to request Mr. Amit Saha to please interact with the faculty.
Yeah, very good afternoon to all of you. Mr. Irfan, if you can kindly confirm whether I am audible and whether my screen is visible.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your screen is visible and you are also audible.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Irfan. First of all, I would like to thank all the dignitaries, the guests, and the academic fraternity of CBIT, who has made today's program possible, and not only about today, as it has been already mentioned by Professor Ramakrishna, that it has been a long and strong bonding that has been there between CBIT and ExcelR, and that has definitely made ExcelR growing by leaps and bounds. And we would definitely look forward for even more strengthening this association with CBIT and as well as with all the premium institutions in the higher education space across the country. Moving forward, I again would like to welcome once more all the faculty members, all the delegates and dignitaries across the country who had made out their time from their precious routine of every day and made themselves available. And we are excited, and at the same time, we assure you that these coming 15 learning days, we would keep no stones unturned to make it more exciting, engaging, and fruitful for all of you. So we started this activity. That is, the activity that I'm speaking about is of the everyday learning for students, faculty, and colleges, that is a higher education institutions or higher education space. Starting off, speaking about ExcelR, we started off our journey from 2014, an initiative by the IIM and ISB alumni. We have our headquarters in USA, which I will be mentioning in a minute. And we have the credentials of starting it small, but then over these years, we have been able to train more than 3.5 lakh students and professionals across the globe, majorly, of course, in our country. So from a humble journey, we have been moving on and helping students and professionals across the globe by delivering top-notch world-class classroom and online training. Our world headquarters is housed at Houston, USA, and we train students and professionals in multifarious domain, which encompasses starting from data science to AI/ML, cloud analytics, testing, automation, full stack development, and many more emerging technologies or the trending technologies. We have a plethora of industry partners who had been associated with us, taking our services for the upskilling of their workforce, and as well as they have partnered us all through for their hiring requirements of trained and qualified professionals to join them as a part of their industrial journey. A few of our academic partners, prominent academic partners, apart from CBIT, are highlighted out here. And we have been working very closely with them. Actually, we have a very exhaustive list of them, but just for the sake of time, we have just highlighted a few of them from the national and as well as in the international fraternity. The everyday learning for free. What does it come up with? What is the entire 360-degree journey that we take the students and the faculty through? As far as this particular program is concerned, we would be catering to the faculty of the institutions. But we have also parallelly the student development programs and the seminars and webinars as well from time to time being conducted throughout the calendar throughout the year. So basically, our association starts off with signing an MOU with the HEIs, higher education institutions. And the primary deliverables of that starts from conducting industry webinars to FDP programs, one of them which you see getting conducted starting from today and will close somewhere close to around, I think, 7th of October. So close to around 15 days, we would be closely associated. Providing the LMS access for a continuous learning and continuous resource platform for the faculty and the academia and as well as the students. Our range of professional trainings starts from data science to AIML, and I have already spoken about the training technologies. We have the support of providing assignments and assessments, leading to areas of projects and internship, and finally ending up with placement preparation support like resume builder and mock interview sessions. So this in a nutshell is a basic 360-degree understanding about the deliverables under the everyday learning programs, which are offered without any commercial, commercial association of it. So just in a snapshot, the primary objective of this initiative is providing application-oriented training to the students and faculty, hands-on training on the trending technologies, and as well as support and create an ecosystem of support mechanism for the colleges and higher education institutions in fulfilling a few of their NAC, NBA, or AICT accreditation criteria. The deliverables, if we try to have it in a simplified snapshot, we offer free trainings for students and faculty in the form of student development programs, faculty development programs, webinars, and seminars. We also offer the learning management system, that is the LMS for students and faculty, whoever are being a part of this everyday learning program, with an access of the same for lifetime. So that whether the students want quick access whenever they are going in during their formative years or during their initial part of their career, they want to quick review, quick prepare themselves for any upcoming interviews and so on and so forth. And as well as the faculty member who want to curate, design something on the trending technologies for their institutions, for their students, they can have a ready access repository available with them. We also get into the support of projects, internship, and placement preparation, of course, where there is a handshake, where there is a proactive proactiveness from the institution side by providing a point of contact to us for delivering the same. We have conducted more than 100 plus webinars in the last 1.5 years. And approximately more than 1 lakh plus participants have attended those webinars. We have a great, robust YouTube following, where majority of our content are provided, where the students, learners can access them free of cost. Just a quick walkthrough with reference to the kind of NAC and NBA criteria fulfillment that we support in for the institutions. With reference to the number of points they need to record and the area in which we can support them. This, in a nutshell, is the entire visibility with reference and the initiative with which we have moved forward for offering this ExcelR EDL program, everyday learning program, and the ultimate support to the entire academic fraternity for the upliftment and upskilling of their students, of their academia, on a regular basis. We look forward for associating with majority of the institutions across the country. At this moment, although we have been able to sign up with close to around 1,000 HEIs across the country, but that again we consider as a tip of the iceberg. Our endeavor is that each and every higher education institution associate with us, utilize this particular resource, make it fruitful, and make it reachable to each and every learner who want to make a mark in their career, in their profession, in whatsoever way we would be able to make minimalistic contribution. We would consider ourselves lucky in the same. If any one of you who with many of some of the institution, we might not have even till now been able to sign up the MOU. So I just wanted to highlight out here, if you want your institution to have, enter into an association on this great journey of everyday learning, please reach out to the connect points that are provided out here. We would definitely post it across in the chat box also from time to time. Please reach out to us. Please reach out to Mr. Irfan or to me, and we would be more than happy to connect with you, discuss our proposal with you, and see how and what way we would be able to associate in the coming days. On this note, I would like to make a short thank you, because this is not definitely this is just a start of the program that we are going to have for the next 30 hours. So on that note, I would again express my gratitude to all of you for making your time and make yourself available today out here. We would definitely try our best to make the time best fruitful way. Thank you so much. I would now hand over the session to my colleague, Miss Leila, who would be taking you through the LMS journey regarding the continuous support that you would be able to get through this particular platform as far as the learning management system is concerned. So, Leela, you can kindly take over. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Leela?
Yes, Amit. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please take over.
Thank you, Amit. Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon. And we are very glad to have you all here for us with this national FDP program. So as Amit mentioned, I'll quickly walk you through all about the LMS features and what are all privileges that we will be giving to you as part of this program. And before I start my presentation, I would like to confirm with you all that whether you had been given the LMS access or not. Can anyone confirm me in the chat window, maybe yes or no? Okay. Amit, would you mind confirming whether my screen is visible?
Leela, your voice is
Yeah,
not clear.
Leela, you need to be a little louder. Anyway, your screen is visible, but you need to be a little
Am I
louder.
audible
And
now?
yeah, you are audible. You can please go ahead. Your screen is visible. I think you are using your taskbar, so you can start off.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Thank you, Amit. So, team, you can use any of the web browser available in your device and type L of our ExcelR's e-learning platform. You can use the web browser to access this platform. Okay, it is onlinelearning.excelr.com. One second, team.
Leila, it seems there is a lag at your end. If you can kindly check out. Yeah, sorry for the interruption, everybody. So I think there is a small glitch at Leela's end. So she has some connectivity issue. So we would park this LMS walkthrough for some time because we don't want to waste your time. So meanwhile, what I'll do is that I'll just introduce our faculty for today, the trainer for today, and we will go ahead and start off the program. Right. So just let me share my screen once more. So hope my screen is visible out here. So uh, all the persons from the academic fraternity, I am excited to inform you all today. We have our trainer for today with us, Mr. Akash Sharma. He is a cybersecurity expert with just a second. Okay. Yeah, so he's a cybersecurity expert with 6+ years of experience, holding 20+ major league certifications like CH, SCA, OSCP, CCNA, CCIE, etc. He has trained more than 1,800 candidates globally on various cybersecurity curriculum. He comes from an engineering and a tech background. Currently, he is a senior subject matter expert and board advisor for an edtech entity, and we look forward to have a very exciting session with him for all of you. On that note, I would hand over the stage to Mr. Akash Sharma. Mr. Akash, you can kindly take over and start off with your session, please. All the best. Mr. Akash, you are not audible.
All right. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Akash Sharma. I hope you guys are doing good. My name is Akash, and I'm going to take your batch for Cybersecurity Faculty Development Program by ExcelR. I want to thank all of you for joining today and joining on our journey for next 15 days for this training program. And I hope you guys will enjoy, and I'll try to deliver as best content as possible. For those who are not from India and are not familiar with the name, they can call me Alex. And I love to interact with you as well. So you can always put your queries, doubts, your interactions in the chat box. I will be always active and answering the most of them. So let's begin our session for today. And I will be sharing my screen with you. Is my screen visible?
Not yet, Akash. We are waiting for your screen to be visible.
Okay.
Yeah, it's visible now.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, thank you much again for the introduction, and I appreciate that. As I said, as already been introduced to you, I am a certified ethical hacker, a pen tester, and a security expert with a few certifications. I also deliver training on multiple architectural security programs for various organizations. So, and it'll be interesting because here we are not just learning the I will be showing you a couple of practicals, but today let's just start with the basics. Please put that in the chat box.
Excuse
Technical
me.
issue.
Excuse me, Akash. Hello. Excuse me, Akash. Amit here. There is your voice is coming a slightly broken. So maybe if you can kindly check your connection and as well as your maybe the microphone connection part, please,
Okay.
once. Yeah.
Okay, let me
So
check.
voice is coming a little broken times.
Just a second. Okay, is it any better or is it the same?
Yeah, it's good to go.
It's good to go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so technical glitches happens all the time to the best of us. Can't escape it. All right. Coming back to what we are doing here is learning cybersecurity. So we start learning from the very fundamental, from the very basic. Today, we are just going to cover up the fundamentals as I already explained. I will explain you a couple of terminologies and some documentation so that what we are going to learn in the upcoming classes can be understood and can be made relatable. I know it's more theory today, and you have already gone through a lot of presentation so far, but trust me when I say this, it's going to be interesting as soon as we, as we progress further. So let's go with the basic definition. We talk about terms like cybersecurity and information security. Some of you might have also heard about ethical hacking, right? All these terms are interchangeable. They are the same thing. There's no such big difference. It's just the meaning people have or a perception they have regarding the curriculum. Otherwise, they all relate to one thing, which is digital security or digital protection for that matter. So here what we do is we are providing you a piece of technology that helps you govern all the technical assets. Like consider this as your network, maybe at your home, maybe at your office, at your organization, wherever you work. And there could be a few number of devices in the organization. Now, these devices are interconnected to each other in one way or the other. That interconnection could be through cables, could be either with Wi-Fi, could be any other way. I'm not a good artist, so please do not mind my drawings here, just for illustration purposes. So this interconnection between the devices opens up new gates open up the doorways for data transaction. What you can do in a digital environment is data transaction. You can also share packets. Packets are small, tiny information data. The tiniest form of data is called a packet that is sent over network. You can share packet, you can do data transaction, you can save files, you can share files, you can do video streaming, play games, all those kind of activities can be done in a network with your devices. The point is, what are we really doing about the protection? Are we really concerned about it? Are we following the appropriate measures for the security? And trust me when I say this, most of the times we are not. So today I'm going to teach you a little bit about the basics so that all of you are on the same page. I know most of you guys are from technical domains and you are very well versed with the technical information and the terminologies. But again, I want to be uniform with all of you. So I'm going to keep you all on the same page. Going to start from the very fundamentals. And then as we proceed, I'll become more technical. But yeah, so let's start with the common terminologies first, okay? Let's understand whatever I'm going to talk about and all the technical jargons that I'm going to throw at you. So the first one, okay, before I proceed, just to let you know, this is going to be a more illustrative session. I'm just going to illustrate a little bit about whatever definitions I'm going to give. So, and about this document, if you need these documents, I will share with the ExcelR team, and I think they will be able to pass it on further. Also, before I proceed teaching, if any one of you are having issues keeping up with what I'm saying, or you want me to slow down a little bit, or you want me to explain the topic a bit more thoroughly, feel free for that, okay? This is not a session where you are just here to listen. You are here to contribute and learn, okay? So this is going to be a two-way session, not just a one-way. That's how I like it. All right. So the first term that comes across is an exploit. What is an exploit? These are all the terms that security experts and technical experts use in our domain. I'm just giving you an introduction so that whenever I will use these terms, you will know that what I mean by that. All right, the first term here is an exploit. What is an exploit? Now, consider that you are using a software, could be something like a media player, which is very well known VLC. Now, VLC media player is majorly used for video streaming, like for watching movies, watching videos, songs, and stuff like that. Now, I, as a user, have a very different expectation from VLC, and I, as a hacker or a bad guy, have a very different expectation altogether. So a hacker will always think of breaking into a particular piece of technology. They want to find the loopholes, the weak links, they want to find that. So they don't really care about how good and feature loaded it is. All they need is to break in. So imagine yourself trapped in a room and you want to get out of the room. So your efforts and your attempts will be to break out. Similarly, the hacker's efforts are to break in. So that's exactly how it is. Now, an exploit can be considered as a script. It's a piece of script, by the way, which can be sent by a hacker in order to compromise your piece of technology. In our case, it's VLC. It could be literally any technology possible. So in order to compromise this piece of technology, hackers use exploits. If you go by the literal definition of it, an exploit is like finding an unlocked backdoor to a building. So imagine there is a security guard, there is a biometric check, and you found a backdoor where you don't need these authentications. You can just simply enter a building like that. without giving out your information. So that's an exploit. You just hacked the building. If someone discovers this backdoor, they can get unauthorized access to the building. You just can replace the building with a computer, or maybe a phone, maybe a website, could be anything. An exploit, think of an exploit as a hacker finding a secret passage into a company's computer system without the password. That's the beauty of an exploit. We will be using a couple of them. I will show you how easily hackers can get access to these kind of things and how you can protect yourself as well. So that's an exploit. Now, along with an exploit, there is another term always used. They go hand in hand, which is a payload. Payload is kind of like a best friend of an exploit. It's not always there, but in most of the situations, you will see a payload. So for those who are aware of rocket science, I'm not expecting all of you, but in a missile or in a rocket, on the very top of the rocket, this part is called the payload because it is the one which is being delivered in the outer space or maybe to another location with explosives. Or if you're going to another planet, this payload contains all the information and the people carrying. So that's a payload in a rocket. Similarly, in exploit, a payload is a harmful package hidden inside a harmless looking delivery. So I might send you an email, I might send you a file, maybe a movie, could be a cracked game, could be anything else. And I might hide this payload inside it. So whenever you open the file, the payload will be executed. In common term, we call these payloads as virus. I'm sure now a lot of people will be able to relate it. Virus, it's a very common term, or maybe you might have heard of this thing called worms, right? Viruses, worms, Trojans, right? Backdoors, etc., etc. So these are payloads. I can hide a payload into literally anything, and hackers do it all the time to gain access to your precious computers and your data. After this, it's important to understand what is an attack surface. What do we do with it? Why is it important? As a security expert, whenever we are doing testing on a certain environment or a platform, we always look for attack surfaces. But what are they? Let's understand. Imagine a house with multiple entry points like doors, windows, chimney, maybe ventilation points, or a secret underground door. These all entry points are an attack surface. The attack surface is a total of these potential entry points that a burglar can use to break in. So if anybody is having any kind of, a malicious intent to get into your house, they will do a recce. They will see like where they can get in from. Consider a hacker as a burglar, as a bad guy, right? He's not a good guy. He's not gonna give you a piece of chocolate, right? He's gonna take it away from you. So attack surface are those potential entry points. Like in my system, if it is a hackable, the entry points could be my password page where I put my password, could be the USB slots. Somebody can insert a USB or can insert a disk, could be the Wi-Fi points because somebody can connect to my network. So all these are entry points. All these are attack surfaces. These are technical terms, okay? So I'm not going to call them entry points. I'll call them attack surface. It sounds more professional for sure. Okay. After understanding a few technical terms, let's understand these amazing technologies that we'll work with a little bit. Okay, Mr. Ali is asking for a payload explanation. Okay, I'll explain the payload. All right. For those who have not understood payload, let me explain you this with a good example, okay? Now consider this as an attacker, and this could be a victim. Now it is very obvious that the victim will never want to connect with the attacker. This is never going to happen, right? I mean, if you know that there is an attacker, you will never connect with an attacker. And we face it a lot of times, and same goes with the hackers. They also face it a lot of times. So hackers have this amazing thing called a payload. So imagine a hacker. This is the hacker guy. Imagine the hacker is going to send you a PDF file. Okay. This is a harmless looking file which may contain some document or may contain some information that you are interested in. And along with this PDF, smartly enough, he have added something called a payload. So what will happen? Now, this is one single package, by the way, okay? This is one single package. So he sends you this to the victim, of course. As soon as the victim executes this PDF on their side, unknowingly, obviously, they are also executing the payload. And guess what the payload is doing? The payload is asking the victim system to make a connection to the attacker. So two things are impossible. The victim will never accept a connection from attacker. And the second condition is the victim will never himself connect with the attacker by their own wish. That is never going to happen. So how about we can manipulate the system to do so? The systems are dumb computers, they don't know stuff. We give them the commands. So we can manipulate them very easily. And this can be done with the help of a payload. So payload is added along with a genuine file, like a PDF file, can be sent to the victim. And as soon as the victim clicks on it, the payload will send me the connection request. And now I am connected to the victim. I can control the computers. I can see whatever they're doing. I can compromise it in any way possible. And these are all legitimate scenarios. This happens in the real cases. Now, that's what a payload is. A payload is nothing but a line, a script with a few line of codes. Could be 20, 30, 40 line of codes. It's just a script, basically, which can be, combined with a harmless file. You might have heard of this term as well called a malware. I'm going to explain that too here. There it is. A malware is also nothing but the same thing. It includes different categories. There are viruses, Trojans, ransomware. They are all malware. Malware is short for malicious software, you see. So anything that is malicious and it is a computer application, it's a malware. So like mal from the malicious and ware from the software, both combined is a malware. Malware can be used for any purpose possible, for stealing data, compromising computers, literally whatever. So a virus is like a digital infection that can spread through files or compromising a computer's functionality. So exactly what I just explained through the illustration, that anybody can send you a file and through that file, they can hack into your systems. That's exactly what a payload will do. I am sure now it is pretty much understood. Okay, I just forgot I should be also checking the YouTube chat box. All right, okay. Moving on with the new term here called the VPN. Okay, these two terms are oftenly misunderstood, and there are a lot of complexities sometimes with people that understanding what is a VPN and what's a proxy, what is the difference. Today, I'm going to bust out this myth for you. Okay, so understanding about the VPN. Let's understand the structure first, okay? You are a normal computer user, right? You visit websites on a daily basis. Just a second. Okay. So as a normal user, when you visit a particular website, I'm going to name it WS, you are giving out a few of your details like your IP address, which is your internet identity, basically. You're giving out information about your browser, like what kind of browser you are using. Yes, websites do take this information. They also take a look at your advertising, about your browsing history sometimes, like what kind of things you oftenly visit. And this is done with the help of cookies. The point here is, do you really want to share all this information? Of course not. You never would want to give out that. But we live in a digital age, and people create websites. There are companies who ask for this kind of information, and they use it to manipulate you or to advertise things to you, which you of course don't want to see. So the point here is, how can you actually stop this? There is an amazing thing called a VPN. I'm going to explain how this works. So you right now, when you are in your network, in your same network, there could be maybe 5-7 different devices. There could be a PC, could be a phone, smartphone or something like that, could be a smart TV, could be anything else. And all of them connects to your router, right? I'm gonna name this as R. That's a router. So your system, understand carefully what happens is, your system connects to the router. The router passes on the information further to the web server. It gets the information back to the router, and from the router, it goes to your system. So the middleman here is your router, right? Because that's where all the traffic is coming and going through. How about I get out of this network? How about I get just out of it? I pretend that I'm not even in this network. This is my home network, for example. Home network. And in this network, I have a few devices, and I am also one of the users. But the sad part is that I am giving out information here. So as a user, what I can do is I can connect to a different network altogether somewhere else in the whole world. Could be in the Bahamas, could be in the United States, could be in China, could be in Thailand, could be somewhere in the Europe, anywhere, doesn't matter. That's not the question where it is. But this network is somewhere else. Now, as I told you, oops, what's the deal with these hearts? Oh, okay. My bad. Yeah, okay. No. Consider this network is somewhere else. There are a few computers I don't know and I don't care really, but there are a few systems, and of course they also have their own router. But here what's happening is, I am given the privilege of connecting to this system, call it S1. Now this system is going to do the browsing on my behalf. It will go to the website, get all the details from the website, and guess what? Give it back to me. Now the route is completely changed, you see. It's not the general route over here. This is not what I'm following now. Because here what's happening is, my information is at stake. They are taking my IP address, my browser details, my search histories and stuff like that. So they are using my information without my permissions, But here what's happening is, this system called S1 is doing a big sacrifice and giving out their information instead of mine. It's just acting as a delivery man. But the only difference is, it's in a whole different network altogether. We call this a remote network, somewhere remotely far away from where I live. Remote network. But don't you think, why would S1 do this sacrifice? Why is S1 giving out the information? Is he my friend? No, I don't even know who he is, right? And he don't even know who I am. It's just that I am paying them a fee. maybe a couple of dollars, maybe more than that, maybe less than that. So imagine I am paying S1 X amount of dollars a month and asking him to do the searches on my behalf. And guess what, guys? This is exactly what a VPN is. VPN is that guy who is doing the searches on your behalf and giving out information from their network and not yours. So your identity is safe. Nobody's going to know who you are, where you're from. All the information and identities will be given out by the VPN. Say the name already says virtual private network. You see there? Private network. It's not your network. It's somewhere else. It's virtually available somewhere on the internet, maybe in a different state, continent. Sorry, I was going to say planet, but we are not advanced that right now. Could be in a different continent, could be anywhere on the earth for sure. So a VPN is a secure tunnel that protects your internet connection and keeps your online activities private. Nobody knows who you are, right? Anonymous mode. So when you connect to a public Wi-Fi, maybe you are at Starbucks, at McDonald's, KFC, wherever you go and eat, they always give you free Wi-Fi. Now, it is considered as a privilege, but trust me, it is not. If I am a bad guy and I know you are in a free Wi-Fi, I can literally hack into any of your stuff. I think I won't be bragging if I say in less than 5 minutes. And trust me, that happens. Your banking, your social media, your photos, and everything else can be accessed. So it's that easy. So whenever you are in public Wi-Fi's in these kind of spaces, maybe in subways or somewhere, always use a VPN, a virtual private network. You can use a free VPN, a paid VPN, doesn't matter. I don't really care. It's up to you which ones you want to use, but they act as a protective shield. So that's the best part, and that is very helpful, so that no one else in the network can snoop on your online activities. Nobody else can see what you're doing. You are now all rogue. You are anonymous. But here's a catch. I know it was all sounding like a dreamy thing, but here's a catch. What if S1 right here is charging you the fees, doing all the services, but again, S1 is corrupted. And this traffic, you see over here, this traffic right here, what is being sent and received is going through S1. So this channel is actually going through S1. So you're kind of right now depending on S1, right? So my point here is, what if S1 becomes corrupted and starts selling you information? So how would you trust that, right? You cannot even trust S1 now. I just made you more, paranoid, right? So it's not like that, by the way. Most of the VPN providers have to go through certain compliance checks and regulations. They cannot store your information. There are legal boundaries they have to stay inside and have to operate in the legal boundaries. So based on that, always choose your VPN very carefully, okay? This is not a sponsored video or something like that, but I use a VPN called Nord. There are a couple of good VPNs out there. If you want, you can use them as well. There is Nord VPN. There is this thing called a Proton VPN. I use Proton for like almost, 7, 8 years now. It's pretty good. It's pretty safe, faster, reliable. I never faced any issue with that, trust me. Nord is also good. There is also another one called a Ghost VPN. They follow all the compliances very carefully, and they have their own team which works on data protection. So they are pretty reliable. Again, I'm not sponsoring them. It's your choice. It's your experience, whichever you want to use. But it should be paid. According to me, it should be paid, because if you're using a free VPN, see, my friend, anything in the world, if it is free, then you are the product. If you're using a free VPN, I can guarantee you that they are using your information in one way or the other. It is absolutely possible, and that's how the world works, unfortunately. Never use a free VPN. I never recommend anyone for that. It's almost as unsafe as giving out your credentials in the open. So that's how it is. Now that we understood VPN, We have understood its pros and cons. We have understood its facility, the features, and the amazing things it can do. But there is a very big catch. It's about trust. We cannot trust all VPNs, right? We have to go through a lot of documentation and see the reviews and then make a decision which VPN we want to use. And the sad part is it is outside your network. It's somewhere else in the whole world, right? It's not in your network. Imagine a different situation now, okay? Where again, you are the user, you are visiting a fabulous website one Tuesday afternoon. But this time, instead of using it on your own, you are asking one of your friend to do it on your behalf. And that friend does not live too far from you. The friend is on your system, which is called a proxy. Proxy. Now, this is not a different network. It is on my system, literally on my own browser. So what is a proxy if you go by the literal definition of it? A proxy is having a trustworthy friend that stands between you and the internet, shielding your identity. It's like you send your friend to browse something and get back information to you. But guess what? It is coming back to your system. Nobody else is the mediator here. It's your own script or maybe your own piece of software that you're using, which is a proxy. There are literally 100 different kind of proxies available these days. They are a little bit more complex than VPNs to use, but they are very much reliable. And frankly speaking, I prefer to use my own VPN, but there are a few proxies I always prefer over VPNs. Yeah. So proxy is something that is on your own system. This is not on a third-party platform that you don't know, you never visited, never seen. This is in your own browser. I can literally connect a proxy in my own browser, and I can make sure that it goes to the internet and serves everything for me on my behalf. So I can also monitor my network and I can see all the packets coming in and going out. I can do whatever I want. I am in the control when I am using a proxy. So that's the best part about it. So that's the difference between a VPN and a proxy. VPN is a remote network somewhere else on the globe. Proxy is literally as close as in your browser. It's in your own system. So the next time somebody asks you what's the difference, you already know it because I just explained that to you. Credits where it's required. Okay. We have seen already about the malware. What is a malware? It's a malicious software, right? We have seen the payload. We have understood different viruses. I'll explain a little bit more on the malwares and the functionalities and how to prevent these things in the upcoming sessions. For now, let's just keep it basic. Next thing is vulnerability. Now, I know it's a big word, but very simple meaning. Vulnerability is a weakness. Even humans have vulnerabilities. We have emotional vulnerabilities. We visit psychiatrists and mental doctors and stuff like that. I just said mental doctors. It's really funny. So weakness is nothing but a backdoor, an entry point, an attack surface, if you remember the word, in a system that can be exploited by the hackers. Now, imagine that I'm trapped in a room, but there is one door that I can break. That is the vulnerability. That one door is the vulnerable point where I can exploit the room and I can break inside. Similarly, in computers, there can be literally hundreds of different vulnerabilities that can be exploited and potentially can be found by hackers easily. The goal is not always to, block or eradicate all the vulnerabilities. But sometimes the goal is also to hide them, not show them all. I mean, of course, you might have your own emotional vulnerabilities, but you never choose to show them, right? You only choose to the trusted people who are close to you. You don't show it to the public, right? You don't tell them that, yes, I am lonely or I'm depressed. You only tell to the people you care about. Similarly, in organizations, when there are technologies involved, we don't tell about the vulnerabilities to all the people who are not even a part of the organization. We only tell and disclose those vulnerabilities to our own IT people, so that they can take care of it, hide it, or even fix it if that is a possibility. Okay, so Vishruti is asking, what is the difference between these three terms called a flaw, a bug, and a vulnerability? It's actually the same stuff. A flaw can be considered as an error. Like if I was supposed to write a piece of code and I made a little bit of tiny error, that's a flaw. A bug and a vulnerability is exactly the same thing. Okay. Finding a bug is exactly the same as finding a vulnerability. The bug is a small little, cute term for vulnerability. You can use it, no problem. But professionally, we use vulnerability. So that's what it is. It's the same thing, by the way. Okay. After understanding the vulnerability as well, let's understand the concept of, there are two concepts that I need to explain, by the way. One of them is penetration testing. The other one is vulnerability analysis. I am not sure how many of you, but I hope that some of you must have researched a little bit about these things. So you might have came across these two things, penetration testing and vulnerability analysis. Penetration testing, in short, is also called pen testing. So that's what I'm going to call it. Sometimes a lot of organizations combine this thing and make it a process called VAPT. It's actually the same thing as what I just explained. Pen testing and vulnerability. It's a combination of them, okay? So what are they? These are activities. Both of them is an activity. This is where we exploit vulnerabilities, and we also find and exploit vulnerabilities. That should be the right definition. Find and exploit vulnerabilities. Detect potential attack surfaces. That's what we do here. In vulnerability analysis, we majorly fix and patch vulnerabilities, report generation, and there is also something called risk management. So these are the two activities that takes place as as a security service provider. This is what we do in PT and VA. PT is considered more as an offensive approach in security, where we are breaking stuff, we are literally hacking into stuff, of course, with permission, with legal permissions. We have to go through a lot of documentation for this. And in vulnerability, we are more on a defensive approach, where we are just finding solutions, fixing stuff, just being a protector, the good guys for once. Okay. Just a second. All right. So these are two activities that always takes place whenever you will be working as a security expert. So this is what we do. We either have an offensive approach or a defensive approach. Most of the times there are team divisions. The penetration testers, the pen testers, are called in a red team, and the vulnerability analysis people are called in a blue team. So there are two different teams that we divide in our security architecture. Whenever we are working with a client or organization, I have worked on both of them. I have also led these teams myself on a couple of projects. So these are two, you can say, categories that can be divided in a nutshell. So that's what pen testing is. It's an activity of finding vulnerabilities before a hacker can do it. It's like paying me, the good guy, for finding a weakness and fix it instead of being attacked by a bad guy. So it's like that. I'll explain on a few attacks as well, a different kind of attacks and how they work in real time. I'll explain the conceptual background on them. But again, for a technical demonstration, you have to come again, maybe in the upcoming classes, but I will show you how they work in real time. Other thing you have to work with here is firewall. I'm sure you must have heard of it. Come on. Firewall is one of the most fundamental level of security that exists in your system. A firewall is nothing but a piece of technology that monitors your incoming and outgoing traffic. Yes, you can monitor the traffic, what's coming into your system, what's going out of it. And on the basis of that, you can manage how the traffic should be, monitored or allowed or disallowed. Yeah, disallowed or blocked. Yeah. So in an organization, there can be certain policies that let's take a possibility that you work in XYZ and they do not allow you to open social media. They don't allow you to open Wikipedia or YouTube. So they can block all those traffic in the firewall, or they don't want you to run certain applications. They can also block those applications. I'll show you one of the sessions I'll take completely on firewall management. I'll teach you how you can fundamentally secure yourself in your systems, on your computers, your phones, if possible, maybe your smart TVs. I'll show you some of the basic fundamental security measures that you can take. So that's what a firewall is. It is the first line of defense in your network or in your device. Next, the term is encryption. If you're a WhatsApp user, you must have seen this end-to-end encryption. This term is not new now. It's encryption. WhatsApp uses end-to-end encryption, right? What is an encryption? What is this thing? Why do we need it? Why is it so important, right? Let's understand this. Now, again, the same example I'm going to take. You are the user, okay? And there is a website which is asking for some information. Like there is a form on the website which asks you your username and your password. Okay. You are a user of the website and you are obviously going to fill these details, right? What if this detail that you're filling in is not secure? What if it's unsecure? What if somebody can read this information, right? That is a little bit concerning. Not just a little bit, it's a lot of concern involved in here. So this communication that I just told you, this part right here, this communication part, the data transaction part that I'm talking about, is done with the help of a piece of technology. It's called HTTP, short for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. For those who are aware of the word protocol, it's just a set of rules, okay? So this protocol is basically responsible for this communication between the user and the website. On your browser, when you type a website, you will always see, like I'll show you here. When I type a website in my browser, let's say I go on Wikipedia, you will see on the top, there is HTTPS, right? On the very top, HTTPS. Similarly, if I go on this website, for example, okay. This website is HTTP, but what's the difference? It's just a single letter, S, right? That is what makes a difference. I'm just going to explain you something really interesting. So please have a look at it, okay? Please focus. HTTP is used for data transaction between a website and a user. Now, HTTP have a disability that is plain text. All your information will be traveling in plain text. Anybody can see it. I can even see it. Whatever information I type, I can see that information because it's all plain text. It's unencrypted. Now, when we talk about HTTPS, It's HTTP with SSL. SSL is secure socket layer. Oops. My bad. Yeah. Secure socket layer. Now, this secure socket layer changes everything because this is encrypting. This is encrypted. Now, what does it mean? Let's say if my username was Akash and the password was, I don't know, could be anything. Testing, right? This was my password. That's my username. Now, this is all plain text because you guys can read it and understand it, right? Is my screen visible? Because a few people are saying that it's not visible. Can somebody please confirm if it is visible? You can see what I'm typing.
Yes, Akash, it is visible.
Okay, because I'm getting some messages that says the writing on the screen is not visible. So, okay. All right. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for the confirmation. Appreciate that. Okay. So now this all information is plain text. Anybody can read it, even if maybe a 5-7-year-old kid. But what if I add an algorithm? I add something that changes the whole stuff. So I will add an algorithm that will do +1 alphabet. I'll explain what's happening here. So if my username is Akash, it might look something like this. BLBHI. What if I say this is Akash? You will not believe it, right? Because you guys are literate, intelligent people. You'll say this is not Akash. But this is the algorithm that is working. So what just happened here is in my general username, Akash, I just did +1. A +1 is B. K +1 is L. B. T. I. Now this +1, this functionality of +1 is called an algorithm. It's a mathematical algorithm that I just added because I'm increasing it, right? I'm adding an increment that when you were sending it, please don't send in plain text. Just add one letter to it and then send it, okay? Just go to the next letter and then make it this way and then send it. So now the information is not going in plain text. It's encrypted. What if I add an algorithm that says +1 and also add a symbol, let's say a star symbol. So this time it will go something like this. B star, L star, B star, T star, I star. Now, definitely you will not be able to ever guess that this is my name, right? Because this doesn't make sense. It is not plain text anymore. It's encrypted. This whole activity of adding an algorithm and conversion from a simple plain text into something unreadable is encryption. That's what encryption is. Websites that use HTTPS is transferring your data encrypted. That means it is more safer because you can trust them. Your information is not plain text or readable by anyone. But if a website is using HTTP, do not trust them. Don't log in with your credentials. Do not type your passwords or even your information at all, because you can't trust them. They are never going to protect your information. They are doing it in plain text. They don't care about you. So this SSL, the secure socket layer, this layer on HTTP actually protects you. The job of SSL is to encrypt information, and that's what happens in real time. Imagine all this happening when you're just typing a website. Like when I literally typed this website, wikipedia.com, this encryption thing took place. Every time I type something in this, let's say I type Euclidean geometry, it will actually encrypt everything, and this whole thing is happening in just a few seconds. So this takes place all the time, and that's the interesting part about it. So it seems like a very big activity, but it just happens in a few seconds. So that's encryption, by the way. If you go by the literal definition of it, it's the same. It's a process of converting data into code to prevent unauthorized access. It ensures data confidentiality. Your data is confidential, it's safe. That's the best part. So when you send a message through a messaging app, the content is encrypted, just like in WhatsApp. So when you're sending from your side to the another side, your end-to-end encryption is protecting your data. Nobody's going to see that. No, even WhatsApp cannot see that. I mean, that's what they claim, but again, it's hard to believe. But yes, encryption is amazing. Okay, you definitely are going to learn a little bit. I will definitely teach you. I'll take a whole session on this, on encryption. I'll show you some tools, how you can use them to encrypt stuff. I will also teach you how to encrypt your hard drives, your systems, drives, and everything else. It's going to be really interesting. Okay. Okay, next piece of technology that we're going to work with is virtual machine. What is virtual? What's this term virtual? Virtual is anything that relates to the computers, you know, the unreal platform, basically. Like these days, we are talking about virtual realities. They are like you wear that headset and you can see different kind of stuff, but they don't really exist. They just exist in computers, but we can interact with them. They are in an unreal platform. A virtual machine is same. Now, let me just explain this quickly. Consider this is your traditional laptop. I know, I'm a real bad artist. That's what they all say, but I don't care. Okay, this is a traditional laptop, right? You guys must be having one of them, or maybe you're using a computer, doesn't matter. And you have something as a platform here. That platform is your OS. Some of you guys may be using Windows, maybe Mac, right? Either one of them. These are some of the commonly used operating systems. These are just interfaces. Like right now I'm having Windows. I click on this stuff. I have icons. I can open stuff, close stuff, you know, do all kind of functionalities. Similarly, Mac is also there. It's by Apple. These are some of the, you know, traditional operating systems that we use in the market. Now, how about I tell you that you are going to do some testing here with a malware. If I ask you to test a malware on your system, would you do it? I'm sure a lot of you guys will say no, right? In capital letters with an exclamation mark. No, of course not. Even I won't do it, right? So what do we need here? What is the solution to this? Because I'm a security expert, I want to do these testings, but of course I cannot compromise my own system, right? So we create something called as a sandbox environment. The sandbox environment is nothing else but a virtual machine. A virtual machine is a place, is that secure environment where you can do whatever you want, okay? I personally like to call virtual machines as Vegas, because whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Similarly, whatever happens in VMs stays in VMs. Virtual machine, shortly they are called VM. So whatever happens in there stays in there. It does not affect your main system. So isn't that great? Because you are not liable to any kind of damage to your system now. You can do whatever you want there. Although virtual machines borrow the resources from your main system. Okay, let me explain it this way. Your laptop or your computers have something called as a RAM, which is the operational memory to run different softwares and stuff like that. Let's say my laptop may have 16 gigabytes of RAM, okay? And then you also have data storage facility. You can store information, files, and stuff like that. So I have a hard disk drive, HDD, a hard disk drive that have a capacity, let's say 500 gigabytes, okay? Oops. Now, this is all that my laptop have. These are the resources of my laptop, okay? But as I said, I am just going to create a virtual environment, right? So what's going to happen here is I will borrow. The virtual machines are going to borrow some resources from your main laptop. It will, for example, will take somewhere around 4 gigabytes of RAM and maybe somewhere around 80 gigabytes of your disk storage. And they will take this much resource and virtualize their own reality. So it's like having a computer inside a computer. I know it's like multiple personalities inside you. Like one of them is real you, and the other one is the one that is in your head. So if you go by the literal definition, a virtual machine is like having a computer within your computer, allowing you to run different operating systems or test softwares in isolation from your main system. Your main system is protected. It's not at harm. No, nothing's going to happen to it. Whatever you do it in there stays in there. I'm going to show you some examples. I'll help you set up a virtual machine of your own as well. Don't worry about it. The question is, why can't we do it in Windows, right? Why do we need this? I just told you it's for the sake of protection. It's for the sake of isolation, so that your main system does not get affected with whatever you're going to do in your testing environment, in our sandbox. So question comes up, if Windows and Mac are not the operating systems that we're going to work with, what exactly are we going to work with, right? So there is this thing called Linux. Now, Linux is also an operating system, by the way. I'm not sure how many of you are. Okay, type L or type Linux in the chat box if you have worked with it before. For those who have worked with it before, type L or Linux, so I can confirm that people are aware of it. Okay, I can see a few inputs in here. But that's great. A lot of people have. That's amazing. So for those who have not, it's okay. I'm here for you. All right. I'll explain what's a Linux. So Linux is an open source superhero operating system. I like to call it a superhero because it is highly customizable. Okay. I'm going to list out a few features for Linux. So Linux is open source. That means anybody from the community can contribute. The sad part about Mac and Windows is that both of them are commercial operating systems. That means they have both kind of version, paid and free. So you can understand if something is paid and it's made available as free as well, there are certain limitations that we have provided. Now, if I give you an example, when I click on this Windows icon and I search something here, it shows this kind of an interface, right? Okay, this is a really funny advertisement. I don't want to see that. So it shows you this kind of an interface. Now, the problem is this is very limited. I cannot change it. This is exactly the way it's going to show all the time. But the best part in Linux is that it is highly flexible. I can edit and I can modify it to any extent. I can add my own features, add my own stuff, create a personalized environment altogether, and I can use it. And I can even distribute it to the other people as well. If I want to create my own Linux with the name of Akash Linux, I can do it. I can distribute it to all of you. And your question is, why would you use it, right? Why would you use Akash Linux? There are already 100 different type of Linux. Why would you use mine? Because you might be interested in the kind of specifications that I have added, the kind of changes I have made. You might be interested for that. So that is the reason you'll use mine. Now, when we talk about these specifications in Linux, there is a thing called distributions. That means when I'm using Linux, I can create my own distributions, my own versions as well. You can see Linux distributions are like flavors of a delicious dish, where the core ingredient, which is Linux, remains the same, but the outer specifications can be different. There are many, many, many flavors of Linux, many distributions of Linux. The most famous one that security people use is Kali Linux. Yes, that's what they call it. There is another one called a Parrot OS. We also use something called a Black Arch. And I won't be wrong if I say there are more than 500 different type of Linux distributions. And I even know people who have made their own distributions. So I can understand, I'm pretty sure you will understand that how vast it is, right? Oops. So that's a Linux distribution, and that is what Linux is. Okay, for those who are interested for the notes of the session, I will share it with the ExcelR team. They will share it to you. I really don't have a direct communication with you guys. And I request not to share the personal information in the chat box. That will be really helpful to maintain the decorum. Thank you. All right. So that's Linux. It's one of the operating systems platforms, just like Windows and Mac, right? Next we have is, okay, we have already understood what's an operating system. I don't need to go into that basics. It's just a platform, it's just an interface between the hardware and the software. So that, Windows and Mac. Sheetal is asking a very interesting question that if we can use a VM as a proxy. The answer to this is yes. Well, okay, so yes, Linux VMs can be created that can work as a proxy. So yes, we can do it for sure. It's a very long approach, frankly speaking. There's a lot of technical aspect involved, which is not clear to you as of now, which is okay. You will understand by time. But yes, this is possible. It's a possible scenario. We can use VMs as a proxy. We can also even use VM as a VPN, by the way. So I'll teach you all that maybe in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so yes, that was the definitions, the terminologies that I will be using in the upcoming sessions a lot of the times. Now, there are 5 major, okay. All right, so before I proceed with anything else, because I know I've said a lot of stuff and I've shown you a lot. So is there any question or any doubt or any query that you want to ask, or, you might want me to repeat something? This is the right time to do it, okay? So ask for it. Okay, so Jobin is asking a good question. What if someone uses a word or a string containing star? How does the algorithm account for that? See, okay, let me see if I can. So that is a question by Mr. George. See, the thing is, there are real complex algorithms that takes your input as a string. No matter what you're typing in there, no matter what kind of inputs you're making, there are symbols, there are different stuff, it doesn't matter. So they take that as an input. Let's say if this is my input for password. What if this is my password, okay? Now you must be seeing there's a lot of symbols, there's a lot of words, there's a lot of numbers, right? So how would the algorithm actually account for this? It can, because it's not treating it as a sensible word. It's just treating as an input, and it's going to manipulate it. Yes, there are a lot of different functionalities that we can add in an algorithm for different numbers, for different symbols, for different character strings. So I will go in depth on this in the cryptography module, where I'll teach you how the cryptography works in a nutshell, and I'll show you some tools that how they work. Maybe then you will be able to understand it better, because an introduction to algorithm is very necessary to this. I'll teach you how algorithms are created and various different kind of algorithms and case studies. So maybe then you'll be able to relate to this information better. Imtiaz is asking, as an ethical hacker, which would you choose, a MacBook or a Windows? Always a Windows, for sure, blindly Windows. Reason for that is slightly a little bit more flexible. MacBook is very rigid. Apple is very strict about the technology. They don't really, they're not that flexible, frankly speaking. Although performance-wise, MacBook is unbeatable. For performance uses, even for professional use, I always use a MacBook. But for academic training purposes, I always use Windows because it is more flexible as compared to MacBook. So that's what I would use. And of course, it's cheaper. I mean, for a MacBook worth 200K, you will be getting the same specification in Windows for less than, I think, 50K. Not 50K, maybe 100K. So somewhere around that. Okay, I'll explain the virtual machines again, Mr. Ali. SSL uses a lot of algorithms, Mrs. Dr. Bhosle. There's a lot of algorithms that are used in SSL, not just one single kind. There is this thing called an RVA, RSA, SHA-256, SHA-128. There's a lot of them. I'll teach you all of these algorithms and the basics about them in the cryptography session. So please hold your horses a little bit. I know you guys are excited, but yes, I'll take care of all that. So Santesh is asking, how does data get validated after encryption? Amazing question. Okay, amazing question. So see what happens here. So in a general communication scenario between a user and the website, the data transaction is taking place in between, right? Going one place to another. So the hackers have 3 attack points. Either they will attack the users, or they will attack the website, or guess what? They will attack the communication stream. Yes, this happens all the time. So if the user or website is compromised, there are different security approaches for that. Either you provide a system security, either you provide a web server security, right? But what if the communication stream is compromised? This can be protected with the help of encryption. In system security is a whole different approach. Web server have a different approach. But for the communication stream protection, we can do it with the encryption part. So a data which is generated from here, I'm just calling it D1, it gets converted in the process of communication. It converts into D2. And when it's received on the server end, on the other part, or on the other endpoint, it converts back into D1 and vice versa. So the point here is, on a endpoint, the security measures are different. Endpoints are the user and the web server, right? We are not concerned about endpoint security right now. Encryption have a motive to secure the communication part. Because if in transit, if the hacker is able to, hack into the communication stream and can see data, that is a problem that can be fixed with encryption. On the endpoint, what a hacker can do can be solved with different approaches, which we will definitely discuss later. So that's how encryption works, and that's how data gets, translated. Okay, Dr. Uma Maheshwari is asking if I can suggest a couple of books where you can learn from scratch. Okay. There's a lot, frankly. There's a lot of them. And okay. I'll speak with the team, with the ExcelR team, if I can share some of my resources with you. I have a collection of maybe more than, 70 ebooks on ethical hacking and Python programming and stuff like that. So I will see if I can share that with you. Otherwise, I will create a document with the links of the books and I'll share you with that. So yeah, I'll do this by tomorrow. So please wait for that. Okay. Okay. So Vindhyasri is asking if VPN is safe or is it encrypted? Yes, VPN is 95% of the time VPN is safe. Okay. There are some really advanced methods through which even VPNs can be broken down, but trust me, they're not easy. They are only with the defense organizations like DRDO in India or like NIA and FBI and stuff. Only they can go to that extent and level to break down a VPN. But trust me, on a generic level, it is pretty safe. Okay, so Vishruti is asking if the pen testing is done by the tester, who will do the vulnerability analysis? As I said, there are two teams involved, the red team and the blue team. They have a very specific task. Your skills, the set of skills that you have will ensure which team you will be assigned to. Either you are good at pen testing or you're good at fixing the vulnerabilities. So based on that, you will be assigned with the tasks. And yeah, a person can do both if you are really good at it. So that's how it is. So Aditya is asking what is the best for pen testing? Is it Kali or Parrot? So as I said, Linux have different distributions. We use either Kali Linux or we use this thing called Parrot OS. These are some of the most famous ones. There is another called the Garuda Linux. There is also Black Arch. There's another one, I'm forgetting the name. Anyway, these are some of the Linux that I have worked extensively on, and all of them work absolutely fine. It's just on your comfort. But because Kali Linux is one of the oldest ones, it is one of the most stable and it is very reliable. So I always say that if you are beginning, go with Kali. But if you are somebody who is familiar with Linux, you can also use any of the listed ones. Maybe use Parrot. Some of the most leading organizations always depend on Parrot OS because they have like tied up with them. So it is also pretty reliable. So you can use any one of them, doesn't matter. Okay, so Mr. Gajala is asking which one is a better, platform as an OS to work with. If you are beginning, I'm sure Linux can be different, can be complex, can be something totally new and overwhelming. But trust me, once you get a hold of it, it is really good. So please start learning from day one Linux. It's very important. So yes, if you want to study for training purposes, use Linux. Always a go-to operating system. Okay, Prajwal is asking how to set up a proxy server to connect to WhatsApp. Okay, this is a very, very different kind of question, my friend. Okay, in network security, maybe I'll elaborate a little bit on proxy servers, and that is when I'll teach you how proxy servers work and how you can connect different applications. Maybe I'll take it then, but for today, I think let's just keep it aside. Yes, Vishruti, I will share the installation. I will definitely teach you, I'll give you a step-by-step guide on how to install the virtualization software, how to virtualize an operating system, how to install Kali Linux. So I will do that for sure. Okay. I'm not sure about the recordings part. For the study material for recordings, please connect with the ExcelR team. They will help you with it. They will provide you the proper guidance. I even have to speak with the same for the same as well. So yeah, you can speak with them. So yeah, any other questions? Okay, Santesh is asking what all kind of things I need for this course, like laptop and all. So you generally need an internet connection, a laptop, and that's pretty much it. Nothing else. If you have a pen drive to store information, it's your choice, doesn't matter. So yeah, that's pretty much all. Nothing else. If there will be something, I will let you know. But for the beginning
Yeah.
stuff, you're all good. Um,
Yeah.
right.
Hi, Akash. Sorry to interrupt. Irfan
Hi,
this side,
Irfan.
actually. Yeah.
Hi, Irfan.
Yeah. So I request to all the participants, we have shared the attendance link in the chat box. So please follow that link and they can mark their attendance. Yeah. So just once again, we have shared this attendance link. So I request all of you to mark your attendance and you can mark feedback also. Yeah. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
Akash,
much,
I'm
Irfan.
also taking this is Amit out here. I'm also taking
Hi,
a
Amit.
couple of seconds for everybody
Sure.
because I was just hearing through that there are a lot of also queries coming in with reference to whether the recordings will be available or the
Yes.
content would be available. So just I want to reassure everybody, just focus on whatever the session is being conducted and don't be worried about the content, don't be worried about the recordings. Each and everything what you require would be available to you within 24 hours in your respective LMS logins, and it would be there forever for you to access. So uh, I would rather expect everybody to leave all those aside to our ExcelR's team and focus on the session, and we'll take care of the rest. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Akash.
much, Mr. Saha. Really appreciate that. All right, guys. So I think your horses are now satisfied. You are going to get the recordings and the content, so that's a good thing. And there's an amazing question that just came across that Mr. George is asking: does being in an ecosystem makes you more secure? So an ecosystem is when you have a device of a same brand, like Samsung have their own ecosystem, Apple have their own ecosystem. That means all the devices of Samsung are interconnected, or all the devices of Apple are interconnected. So yes, it does make you secure because there is one governance. When there is a single party governance, it is very secure because you can monitor everything thoroughly. As of now, I have devices of various brands. So definitely I have to depend on a third party firewall, which governs everything. But if I have an Apple environment, it makes it a little bit more secure. And it also depends on the kind of usage you have. So yeah, it does makes a difference. Mr. Gajala is asking how many levels are there in firewall? Um, oh, okay. It's a very contextual question, frankly. There is no such thing as levels of firewall. It's up to me how secure I want to make it. I can make maybe 100 level firewall. It's up to me. It doesn't matter. You can add as many layers you want. It's like almost like an onion. The more you peel, the more the better. So it's just like that. So yeah, there's nothing like levels of firewall. Yeah. Okay. So Aditya is asking a good question for those who are beginning in this domain about the career opportunities. So I'll explain a little bit about them. So there are a few things that you can consider. As I said, there are two major categories of security, which is pen testing and VA. But it's not just that's all, okay? There are certain things. First is, of course, VAPT. You can always go into that. Then you can also go into something called an SOC, which is Security Operations Center Analyst. Here, you will be working on a piece of software that will just analyze all the logs and everything. SOC in itself is a whole different domain altogether. I have worked for almost 8 months as an SOC analyst in my career. So yes, I have a little bit of experience with that. There's also this thing called NOC, Network Operations Center. It is almost just like security, but the only difference is that you will be monitoring the network and the communication in this one. You'll be majorly working with different packets and transactions happening in your network between different devices. You can also look forward into malware analyst. You can be working for companies who work with malware security and endpoint security provision. You can analyze different malwares and find solutions for those malwares. See, I can go literally on and on, maybe for an hour on different job profiles when it comes to career opportunities in cybersecurity. VAPT itself have a lot of subcategories that I can go into. It always sums up to one thing, which is your skill set. If you have a good skill set, you can literally go into any of these domains. If you know good PT and good VA and you are good with malwares and source codes and stuff like that, and you know how to find bugs, you can literally opt into any of these domains. It doesn't matter. So I always aim to tell my candidates, the people I work with, to focus more on learning everything. Don't focus on a specific topic initially, because when you focus on a single topic, you literally ignore everything else, which is also important and might come handy in the same field. So start learning all these topics all together and then focus on a single stream, whatever suits best or whatever you want to aim for. If you just want to go into source code analysis, you might become a malware analyst easily, or might become something we call DevSecOps engineer. So those who know DevOps, I'm not sure how many of you do, but DevOps is all about the software development lifecycle. So there you basically find vulnerabilities before the software is developed in the testing phase. So DevSecOps is same. You find security issues before an application is developed. Okay, so I see a question very common. So let me explain you something really interesting that I give out to all my candidates about 4 major pillars of cybersecurity. Okay. The first thing that you always need to learn is called system architecture. This can be a blueprint for you. If you are beginning in this domain, this can be a blueprint. In system architecture, you learn about different operating system, different platforms, and how they're working and what's happening behind the scenes, behind the curtains, how an operating system is working, what are the kernel modules, what are the background stuff. Once you know thoroughly about your Windows, about Linux, about Mac, the next thing you should go for is networking methodologies. Learn about different kind of protocols, different kind of packet transactions, see that how data is being delivered from one place to another, and what all technologies are involved in the same. Next is a little controversial stuff, programming. This is the question of a lot of people I can see. Programming, I say, is necessary, but it is not urgent. It means that you need to know it, of course. There will be a requirement that you need to learn a few programming languages, but it's not that it is very urgent. It does not mean that you need to know it right now. When I started my career in this 7-8 years back, I didn't know a single language. Today, I know, I think, 18 plus different languages. But the point is, gradually, you can start learning. You can even start your domain in this. I have trained people who are accountants. I have trained people who are bakery chefs, people who were bus drivers and become cybersecurity experts. So trust me, anybody can learn it. And programming is not going to be a hindrance for you. What's going to be a hindrance is how much time you really want to devote. So yes, with time, you can learn programming languages as well. They are going to be a necessity to advance your career in the future. But for the sake of beginning, you really don't need to know them. But if you know them, it's a plus point. Now, talking about the fourth and the most important pillar that is mostly ignored, social engineering. When I work with developers, there's a lot of friction between a security expert and a developer, because we keep on bugging them on fixing the errors. So I always say, this is a common saying in my domain, that every hacker can be a developer, but every developer cannot be a hacker. What does it mean? It means that every hacker can think from any perspective. You can think from a technician perspective, from a developer's perspective, from a bad guy's perspective, who want to steal information, from a burglar's perspective. But a developer have a single perspective of creating an application. That's it. They don't care about the security operations. They don't care about encryption, nothing. You give them a task, they develop it, that's it. If it works, it works. If it does not, they fix it. They do not care about security. That is the hard truth. So social engineering gives you the mindset of a hacker, that when you are implementing a solution, you have to think from every endpoint that the protection is overall. It's a wholesome protection, not just specific to the problem, but a wholesome protection. So it gives you a bit more understanding of the domain. You might have heard, if you have done a little bit of research, Sir Kevin Mitnick. I have considered him as one of my mentors for a long period of time. I had a chance to meet him back in 2018 in one of the conference in US. He is no more with us. He is in the great heavens, I'm pretty sure. But he have done a ton of research on social engineering, on giving you the perspective of a hacker and understanding different concepts from a hacker's perspective. So you should do your research on him, read his books. He's an amazing person, trust me. He was once the world's most wanted hacker. So you can see like how good he was. So yeah, you can do research on him. So these are the 4 major pillars that you should be considering a lot when you're creating a blueprint. Learn system architecture, then networking, then programming, and then developer mindset. So keep them all together and you are a hacking genius. So that's how it is. Xenia is asking about the qualifications. As I just said, I have experience and I feel very fortunate that I had an experience of teaching people from various backgrounds. I've taught bakery chefs, bus drivers, accountants, people from humanities, journalism domains, and they are now at good positions, or at least they're working as security experts in many firms. So yes, you do not really need a qualification for this. Anybody can learn this skill, but it's just about how much you want to advance the skill. So you definitely, it's very obvious that you do not have, an advantage because you are from a complete non-technical background, but you can always acquire those skills. But if you are from a technical background, you already have an advantage. You have a head start. You can always start learning new and newer stuff. So there is no such qualification barrier here. But yes, certification helps all the time. I have acquired more than 30 certifications, and 20 of them are, I think 22 of them are in cybersecurity. Rest of them are in different kind of stuff like SEO and management and stuff like that. So my experience with certificates is that they always help you to stand out. When I was getting my first job, I started as a network administrator in a telecom company in Canada. And the CCNA was the certificate that I did. That was my very first certificate, CCNA. I think that was back in 2013 or 2014, I guess. So yeah, certifications help you a lot. I will explain certifications at the end of the curriculum when all of these things are done. I'll explain a bit more about the different certifications there are in the market. So yeah, it will help you out better to understand them and choose one wisely. I am going to explain this in the very end because if I give it now, your perspective will be very narrow based on that certification only. So it's better keep a broader perspective. And once we are done with everything, we'll discuss the certifications part. I am sorry, guys. I can't really share the feedback. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on a second. I think I can do that. Yeah, there it is. Oh, no, sorry. All right. Sorry. I'm sorry, I can't share it, but the team is proactively available in the chat boxes. They will keep sharing you the attendance on the feedback link. So please have a look at it. And if there's any queries, we'll always have a doubt session after we have learned everything for the next 15 days. So please have your doubts ready after I'm done teaching the topic. I will definitely take all your questions. Even if I have to extend the duration from 2 hours, I will do that. But yes, I need a proactive contribution here from all of you guys as well. And on that note, we have reached to the end of today's session. We have covered great topics today. We have understood almost everything about the fundamentals for that sake. And tomorrow we are going to learn a little bit about networking. So I'm going to teach you topics like what are different packets, different protocols, different devices of network. So please do attend it. Have a a notepad or something like that. Keep making notes. And yeah, if you have any doubts, you can reach out to me tomorrow as well. I will be available the same place, same time. That was all from my end, guys. Please do fill the attendance link for your certificates. And please do provide a feedback. It helps us a lot to maintain our records and see how I can improve for you. If there is any personal feedback you want to give, please mention it there. It will help the team as well to manage different stuff in the background. And from my side, thank you so much for attending today's session. It was great interacting with you, and I will definitely speak with you tomorrow on networking methodologies. This is your trainer, Akash Sharma. It was nice speaking with you all. Stay safe on the internet. Take care of yourself and stay hydrated. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, hi guys, this is Chandana. Hope you enjoyed the session. I'm again pasting the attendance link in the chat box. Just please mention your attendance there. If you have any queries, please let me know in the chat box, please. I hope there is no questions for me. Regarding LMS, tomorrow we have a session like a KT. For that, Leela will give. Today she can't able to give because of a network issue. You can get recordings and materials from that LMS. Yeah, that's it today. Thank you and bye. Yes, Ramya. Tomorrow we are going to explain about the LMS KT. Today Leela is not available, so that. Any other questions? Again, I'm sending that attendance link. Make sure guys that feedback is attendance is important for your certificate.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Chandana. Should I stay in the session or can I leave?
You can leave, no issue.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you
Yeah,
guys
okay.
tomorrow. All right.
Satvika.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just
Yeah.
a single request. Kindly please
Yeah.
share the feedback with me as well.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. All right. Have a good one.
I will share that register link as well in the chat box. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. Thank you, guys. I think no more questions. Please check my attendance was recorded or not. Yeah, I'm sharing you the attendance link. Again, you just fill that. I hope there is no questions and thank you. I'm ending the session.